obviously the moon would be further away. And if it was a planet, we'd be tilted at 23.5 degrees. Yada, 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 yada. Buenos dias, folks. This is about the tides. We seem to have a pocket of people, large pocket, not a pocket really, probably just loads and loads and loads of people who think the moon is moving the tides. You do realise I slam dunk this, okay? So, well, if I slam dunk something, and we have to go over it again, you know what a slam dunk is? It's when you're not going to miss the basket. And I have slam dunked. The moon has nothing to do with the water on this planet. So basically now what we're doing is wasting time. And now I can't get rid of these two either. Right, look. The moon has nothing to do with the agua en esta planeta. Joder, venga. There's a geezer, and he was just north of the Arctic Circle. I thought it was a joke, but no, you can be north of the Arctic Circle, okay? He's 30 minutes in Norway from a place called Boda. And in Boda, there's a thing called a maelstrom. Look it up. It's interesting. It is the strongest current on the planet. So not only do we have the 4 most vicious high tides on the planet, up in Norway, right, up in Norway, that's Norway. And you see Bodo, just above where it says Norway? Up there, you have the most intense currents on the planet. Look, that's the Bristol Channel there. The 3rd highest tide on the planet. Bodo, Norway, the strongest currents on the planet. Let's go west. What we have is Nova Scotia. See that, where Halifax is? That is where we have the Bay of Fundy. The highest tides, right? Up to 50 feet, not 38. I had 38 feet. It's 50 feet apparently. Now, that's a bit strange, isn't it? And then we go west slightly, and we have the Ungava Bay in Quebec. It's not that one, is it? No, it's pretty sure it's that one there. Ungava Bay. That is the 2nd highest tide on the planet, all the way up north. Look, we keep going west, and we get to there it is. No, there it is. There it is. Where's it gone? Alaska. That will be in there, where it says Seward. I think pretty sure that's there. It's the Cook Inlet in Alaska. It's not down there. Sure, it's there. It's somewhere there. It's just not. He's keeping it from us. Because something's going on, isn't it? And then we go all the way down to Argentina, and we have Rio Gallegos. See it? Bottom tip. That is the 5th high. Oh, somebody's getting a beating over there. Ay, ay, ay. Mama's giving a beating. Good girl. Go on, give it to him. Rio Gallegos, the 5th highest. So we have the moon orbiting us along the equator. We have the moon orbiting us along the equator. We have the 4 highest tides on planet Earth, if it is a planet, all up north. We have the strongest current on the planet up north. They've given this current a name, a maelstrom, up north. The moon has nothing to do with the water on this planet. You keep coming out with Disneyland stuff. You are overlooking some very serious facts here. Now I'm going to give you something that you can ponder on it for a day and then come back and say, yeah, no, the moon. Right? Remember, I slam dunk this. Having to go over it again. Oh. Now, I fish. It's been a while since I fished. Don't have a boat anymore. Tinny. Out in the ocean. Whether it be 2 k's out the front or 30 kilometers out. You throw an anchor down, right? It's an anchor. Right, that'll do. And then you have your boat. And then you've got people in. Right, with fishing rods, fishing. Look at that. I thought I'd lost my touch at one stage there. Now, please pay attention. There is an incoming and outgoing tide. It doesn't matter if you're in the river, obviously. But the thing is, when you're 30 kilometers out, right? Not in this tinny, obviously. Actually, once, I think, when the tide's coming in, you don't know which way. You can't really see the tide coming up, but you can feel the current, right? The anchor, if it was coming in this way, remember, you're 30 kilometers out, okay? You're in 50, 60 feet of water. Right? As the current's coming one way, your anchor, you end up over there, okay? And when you try and fish, your sinkers go that way, it's a disaster, okay? But still better than a bad day at work or a good day at work. A bad day's fishing is better, and But the thing is, this will happen for 6 hours, and then everything stops, and then it drops. Why does it go back the same way that it came when you're 30 kilometers out? If it was a tide and it was following the moon, would it not just follow? It would always be the same, going the same way, wouldn't it? Why does it stop? And then it goes back the same way it came. And then it comes back. And then it goes back. Everywhere. Highly illogical. Because if it was a bulge or something, would you not think that when you're out deep, that the tide would come in, but it would keep going, and then you drop? Slam dunk. The moon has nothing to do with the tide, nor does the sun. It doesn't. If you think that none of the lakes, the biggest lakes that are cordoned off, separated from the oceans, nothing. These lakes, right, are big, massive, deep, long, wide. But there is no budging of the water. Now, considering that the moon, we're talking like, it's a cross section, okay? Sailboats and stuff. Right? This is a lake. It can be 200 kilometers wide, right? And 400, so from where I am, that way, long. They can be a kilometer deep. They are some serious bodies of water. They would be moving. It's illogical to think if the moon is doing all of that right here, right here. This is a line. No. The lakes would move. They would feel the gravitational pull from the moon, but they're not. Everything is up north. Something else is displacing the water on this planet. Something is not adding up. Slam dunk. It is not the moon and it is not the sun. So why is it that the moon goes over and it kind of looks like about the same time? Look, I don't know, right? Whether the moon's a plant and they've told it to circle us at that kind of speed, at that intervals to kind of coincide with the tides. Slam dunk. The moon has nothing to do with the movement of water on this planet. It doesn't control the tides. It's illogical for all of these reasons, right? So you can't think logically, folks. You need to start using logic. You cannot keep saying, well, how does this work? Or how do the tides? Don't know. But it's not the moon. It is not the moon and not the sun. There is something displacing loads and loads of water. But it seems to be happening up north and down south. Not where you think. Around the equator doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense, okay? Now, if that's about 15-ish, I was going to do something else, but I might leave this. All right, 12, come up to 13. Folks, if I slam dunk something, all right, that's it. We move on to the next thing. We don't keep coming back to it. I'm joking. But when I do slam dunk something, I've yet to be proven wrong on a slam dunk. So if you ever see me slam dunk something and you have any evidence that, and don't say freaking Newton's third, because thrust does not work in a vacuum. It does not work in a vacuum. And Newton's third is not evidence, okay? So, sorry. Yeah, that will cause a couple of tsunamis and stuff now. Folks, it's about everything else. You need to stop focusing on the one or two things that sometimes coincide or run along parallel to the lies that you've been told, when there are so many other things that contradict it, okay? It's about thinking for yourselves and ignoring the lies. We will get there and start handing badges out. Like, I can think for myself, like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, that kind of thing. All right, I'm just joking. Buenos días, and la luna, el agua, nada. Que no tienen nada que ver el uno con el otro. Moon does not affect the tides on this planet. Something else is displacing large amounts of water. Slam dunk. All right, later peeps.